back in the woods.
Okay guys, this is my third set going in right now. I'm right under a pine tree. There's a big sandy area here. This is my, like I said, my third set in this area. There's a circle, probably 65, 70 yards of sand out here that is just littered with coyote tracks. So everywhere I can find an overhanging pine, that gives myself a little bit of protection from any weather that might be coming in, like rain and stuff, I'm going to set it. I'm going to try to set about 6 traps in this area and just try to saturate the area with traps, and we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm making a real conventional set here. Pretty much just a dirt hole set. We've already talked about that in other videos. Got my trap bedded good now. Except this time I'm going to dig my dirt hole actually with this groundhog tool. And that's going to lift up some dirt there, and I like that. It makes it look really, really natural. You can just turn that thing in there and spin it and pull the dirt out. You want that hole really to be about, 12 inches deep. You don't want that animal reaching in there and grabbing out your lure, your bait. And you want it at about a 45-degree angle. That's pretty good. Now that's an oversized hole from what I generally use. I'm going to find myself some backing, and we'll also use a little bit of visual attractant too. I'm just varying my sets up back here to make things all that much better. Okay, I just got myself a couple old rotten pieces of deadwood here. I'm just going to kind of put a triangle around this, then throw some dirt on top of it. Now I'm going to come over here because I want to crowd this pan. And on this back side, I'm going to use a bit of a berm for that same thing, to crowd that pan before I cover things up. Get that piece of chaff out of there. We don't need that in the way. Okay, there's our pan right there. Remember where that's at. I want that to be the lowest spot in this set. Starting to rain. Kind of what I figured was going to happen. Put a little bit of a coyote turd right there. We're actually going to put a turkey feather in this set. Right here on the edge. Just as kind of a visual attractant. Again, we're going to crowd that pan. Get him to come right where we want him to come into. Put a rock right here. You won't want to step on that. Maybe a leaf on top of it like that. Flatten this out, and now let's get this really camoed up good. Get the pan covered up. Dump this chaff up on top. Okay. A little coyote urine. Get this uncovered. Okay. Put a lure in the hole and we're set. Get some of this Indian red lure. Get us a stick to put that on. Piece of sheep's wool and shove that down in the hole as far as we can get it. Perfect. Okay, next set. Okay guys, we checked the traps that we had that were close, and they were all empty today. We had a pretty bad rain last night. I definitely wanted to come out today and check to make sure that none of my pans were exposed or anything. This is one of our sets back here. I had actually set 5 sets in an area yesterday for an area that I thought was heavy with coyote activity. This is one of our sets, and there's been no activity on it. It looks like it's in pretty good shape, so I'm just going to leave it. Alright, this is our second set. I'm back here in this, what I call coyote area. And again, no activity. Pan's not exposed, so I'm just going to leave it. Okay, here's our third set back here. And this one's got a possum by the front leg. And we'll see if we can't turn him loose here and do a reset. And you can see this trap circle where he's ran around with this chain on his foot. And we'll do a reset right here, and then we'll move on. Okay, now this set is a problem. This was that step-up set that I set yesterday, and it's got a couple of paw prints in it right here. And I'd say, by looking at it, it's probably a fox. Maybe a young coyote, but more likely it's a fox. And my pan is in the depression. So he stepped up onto the mound, probably got a whiff of whatever he wanted, and left before he committed his weight into my pan. So I'm probably going to reset that trap and change that set a little bit. But I'm tempted to leave it just one more day just to see what happens. Maybe spray some more scent in the area and maybe bait the hole with a little more lure. Okay, here's our reset where we caught that possum. And basically I just scraped up all the chaff and all the scrapings out of this trap circle. Used that for a big trash mound basically. Put a couple feathers back in there. Put some heavier chaff out here and a step over right there. Pan's right there. I'm hoping he's going to jump right in there. We'll find out. I'm going to go over and put a little rock on that other one where that fox was in it last night. And hopefully I'll put a coyote's foot closer to the pan when he comes to investigate it, hopefully tonight. Okay, we put another set in just now. It's a 1.5 Victor padded double coil spring, and I put a squirrel tail down in this hole. Saturated it with urine. Stuffed it way down in there. Got a lot of chafing stuff out here directing him in. Some in the front. My pan is about 4 inches back from the hole right there in the lowest point. Again, right below a lone pine. Okay, this is our last set right here, guys. This is number 7 in this area. And it's just basically in the middle of an area where there's an edge of a field. But it's kind of a prominent feature curiosity type set. I just didn't dig a dirt hole. I just made a mound of dirt like something's been digging here. Threw a couple logs in for fencing. Mounded up the earth to fence him into the middle there. Put one turkey feather in there with a lure behind the turkey feather under the log. Scored her down. Guys, I'm Dave Canterbury from the Pathfinder School. I appreciate you joining me out here today, checking the trap line. Not a lot of success, but I think that depends on how you look at it. You know, everything has to be a lesson, and if you learn something every day, then you've had successes. I caught another possum today. That's 2 in 2 days. If I was hungry and I was looking for meat, possum ain't bad eating for sure. I'd eat them every day if I had to. I'm securing meat. At the same time, I'm targeting coyotes. And one of the questions I've had is, why coyotes? Well, right now, coyotes are the only thing that's in season. So for me to get trapping practice ahead of the trapping season in November, and to make videos of trapping practice and sets and things like that, I need to target coyotes. Now, obviously, you're going to catch other animals, non-target animals, in a coyote set. We've proven that very well over the last couple of days with the 2 possums that we've caught. But at the same time, we learn lessons every day. You know, I had that fox. He was checking out my set. He was there. He was working my set last night for sure, and he didn't get hung in it. Do I want to hang a fox? No, I'm targeting coyotes. But at the same time, I hate it that an animal worked my set and he didn't get caught. There wasn't a footprint on my pan, so it wasn't a matter of pan tension was too heavy or heavy enough that it didn't get a non-target animal. The problem was he never stepped where my pan was at. So the lesson in that is, how do I make him put his foot in that, 2-inch circle over, a few thousand acres? You got to figure that stuff out. Lessons learned. So I put in a couple more traps today. I'm going to try to put a couple more in. I'm up to about 11 now, I think, maybe 12. I've got 7 in that one area, and then I've got like 5 dispersed out in a couple of snares. Like I said, 1 possum today. But I'm looking into getting a horse so that I can get out on the 4,000 acres real heavy. There's no vehicles allowed out there, and walking a big long trap line with a lot of equipment is tough. That's why mountain men, that's why long hunters that trapped, that's why those frontiersmen had horses. so they can carry lots of equipment. I'm looking into getting a horse, and then I'll start doing, you know, some horsebacking out into the 4,000 acres and off my property, and try to catch some stuff out there as well. Hope you continue to join me for this journal or trapping series. It's going to be a long series. We're going to run it through the winter. We're going to set up a trapper's camp, and we're going to run, you know, all winter long during the trapping season. And as soon as I can get into trapping beaver and things like that, I already know where there's a ton of beaver sign at. I'm going to be back there trapping beaver. So we'll get beaver, we'll get muskrat, you know, we'll get coon. We'll be after all of that stuff. We'll try to target some foxes as well. So stay with me. I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate your views. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your comments. I thank you for everything you do for me, for my school, and my family. I'll be back with another video very soon.